Good morning. Thank you. Somebody asked me how I am. Married, 4 kids, all girls. 3 grandkids, all girls. Male dog ran away. So, yeah, he's dead now. But that's every day of my life. So, we're going to struggle through this because this is the first time I've got to talk about something we've done recently, I suppose. So I am Matt Pearson. I'm the fertilizer guy at the Office of Indiana State Chemist. And this looked a lot better on my screen last night when I was finishing it up. So bear with me. Who is a state chemist? We regulate seed, feed, fertilizer, pesticide, and a couple of other things. Most of it is truth in labeling, guarantee of analysis, consumer protection, environmental protection. We're based out of Purdue University in biochemistry. Who went to biochemistry didn't know we were there? Anybody? Anybody? There you go. Yeah, did you know state chemistry at Purdue? Yeah, I was there for 5 years, didn't know it existed. Right across the street, 100% self-funded through licensing, product registration, and tonnage. So, whoa, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. And I'm up here so I can just hit the next button. Max will do that for you. Oyster fertilizer, 700 companies, 10,000 products, about 1.8 million tons of fertilizer. You'll find out why that's important later. Again, we do environmental and safety, containment certification, fertilizer use rules, and hydrous ammonia safety. So that's what we do. What is a fertilizer? Who knows? Well, we define what it is. Commercial fertilizer. Can you guys even read that at all? Means any mixed fertilizer or fertilizer material. That's not really helpful because you use another definition in a definition. Anybody, any other agencies do that here? Yes. It's a trick we play to confuse you. Not really. The important thing, the term does not include non-processed, made it big in red so you could maybe see it. Non-processed manure, marl, lime, wood ashes, and plaster. These definitions date back about 130 years. That's why you see marl. What the hell is marl? Anybody know what marl is? Plaster. Fertilized material. Any substance that contains NPK or other plant nutrients. We know what that is, right? We know what a fertilized material is. And the term includes unmanipulated animal and vegetable manure. Again, vegetable manure. What the hell is a vegetable manure? When was the last time you saw a soybean take a poop? But it's in the definition. Yeah, exactly. It's mint waste or other things that are composted and whatnot, but unmanipulated. So compost isn't one of them. Just for fun, we threw in organic and inorganic. Charlie mentioned this earlier. This may or may not be important later in what I talk about, but this is from our fertilizer use rule. We say what's organic and what's inorganic. When we were writing this rule, it's basically manure and commercial fertilizer. That's the easiest way to differentiate the two. But we'll tell a story about what processed is. So this is for our fertilizer use rule, mainly on the application staging setback table that we have. That you guys probably won't talk about that today, but we might because it depends on when lunch gets here because I'm about halfway done already. How do you sell fertilizer? Well, the law says commercial fertilizer before you distribute, but this is a commercial fertilizer. You must register with our office. You got to register the products and then you get to pay inspection fee. Again, we're self-funded. That's where that 1.8 million comes in, 45 cents a ton. Buys me a pair of shoes every once in a while. But that's commercial fertilizer. That's unprocessed. Is a digester a process? Think about that. So it gets it gets a little interesting, a little convoluted. Let me ask you this. A lot of it depends on the claims and how you're selling something. If your mother was going to the hardware store to get something for her flower beds and she was going to buy a bag of compost or a bag of composted manure, which one would she get? Okay, who here has a mother? Let's start with that. All right, whose mother has a flower bed? Why would she buy composted manure? Right. Therefore, it's a claim. So if you are selling, and we register bags of composted manure, we do not register bags of compost. So that's something to think about, because it's $20 to register the product. It's just $20, but then it's 45 cents a ton. You know, if you're selling a few bags, not a big deal, because, you know, mom selling a bag to mom at the hardware store, there's probably a 45-cent margin in there that you can afford to pay me. If you're selling, I don't know, something else, and you're only getting, you know, 10 cents a ton for it, how can you pay 45 cents a ton? That's kind of where we get with our friends at IDEM and the solid waste and the permitting side of things. What's a fertilizer, what's not, what is claimed, what is guaranteed, what's not. So a lot of it depends on the claims and the guarantees. And I just killed it. I can click. There we go. How do you register a commercial fertilizer? And this is a commercial fertilizer, and I already touched on a lot of it. You got to have guarantees. You got to have a label that mentions the guarantees. The inspection fee. Let's do some quick math. See if I did it right. Sounds like a lot of money, huh? Only 18 grand. That's not that much. But I mean, what's in that? How much can you get for it? How do you pass that on to your customer? And then here's the biggest one. You know, gosh, what was it? I'm looking at you, Brenda. It was, something that used to be trucked in from Ohio. Some biosolid, Class A. Yeah, comes in from lots of places. But yeah, they sell it and distribute it in Indiana, and it's got like 4% nitrogen. It's a 422, I believe. But they don't register it as a fertilizer, even though they say it's got 4% nitrogen, you know, soluble potash and available phosphate. But they don't say it's a fertilizer because, you know, they can't put it inside of a building. They can't make a building big enough. It comes over on a train, you know. So that becomes an issue. Something we probably need to try to figure out, because, you know, if it's a Class A biosolid, it could probably, I mean, IDEM's got rules and regulations on how to safely store it. And, you know, we're trying to protect the environment too. And that's where we have complementary role, protection of the waters of the state, for the storage, the staging, and the application. But it gets a little more difficult when you are saying something is a commercial fertilizer, because, I mean, let's be honest, the byproduct from one of the paper mills, that's a little different than urea, right? Or potash. It's different. So we probably need to find a way to work on the containment side of things. But in 2017, our friends at the State House said the state chemist shall adopt rules. So, Charlie, what happens when they say you shall? You do. So they said if something is a manure-based fertilizer, and again, it was supposed to be brighter, it says 75% of it is manure. So now you guys are going, this is why they're talking about fertilizers at a digester meeting. Yes. So the stuff that comes out of the digester is 75% of it that goes in manure. I have no idea. I don't know what your magic formula is. But now we have a way where you won't have to pay that 45 cents a ton. You with me? So we will regulate the distribution and establish fees. So we did. Here's the biggest thing. If you're putting it in a bag, you're still hosed. But if you're going to put it in a bag, people, it's probably going to be 45 cents a ton margin. What's 45 cents a ton? Really? 50-pound bag. How many bags make a ton? Somebody, where's Danny when I need it? Thank you. 40. 45 cents. Yeah, a penny a ton or a penny a bag. You can probably make a penny a bag. You just jack it up. It'll be all right. So bulk with a guarantee. So if someone wants to distribute a manure-based fertilizer and you want to guarantee it, you can get into my program here. Can't be super high in nitrogen or other, because it's not. I mean, what's the analysis coming out? And I say analysis. What is it when it comes out? Is it going to be less than 10 total? Probably. Is it nitrogen going to be less than 5? Probably. If it's more than that, then you know what? Co-op down the road is going to want some. You sell it to them. Want to sell it straight to the farmers as a commercial fertilizer. That's why we set it up the way we did. Processed manure means manure that's been processed. Pretty simple. We tried to make it as simple as possible. We didn't list what it is. We gave some examples, but it's processed manure. It's not just manure right out of the house, right out of the barn. It's something has to be done to it. 45 cents a ton. It all went away. So now we have 3 different tiers. I don't know, if 1,250 tons a little or a lot. But, we go up to 1,250, 5,000 tons, and more than 5,000 tons. These are numbers we came up with. We didn't come up with this on our own. I mean, we sat down with Farm Bureau and the ACI, Indiana Plant Food Ag Chem. We sat down with corn and soybean, all the livestock groups, and said, okay, help us make a rule because you guys are the impacted parties. And this is what we came up with. And I said, all right, sounds good to me. We can make that happen. What about the storage? Because I talked about containment. I mean, how are you going to contain? Because, it's primary containment, secondary containment, operational containment. For a lagoon, how are you going to do that? Impossible. Well, now it's not, because we have basically, it's just like the satellite. We copied the entire satellite manure storage rule and said, here it is. So hopefully you guys got some spare engineers that wouldn't mind helping us take a look at this. Man, just give me the good ones. Just give me the good ones. So we got that part covered, right? So we can market and distribute it. We can store it. We're protecting waters of the state. This has been in place for about a year because I had to do the promulgation process maybe 4 times because I kept screwing it up. COVID kind of stalled it, and then when you miss a deadline and then you forget to submit something, the state's really picky when it comes to the promulgation process. They have to do it just right, which is kind of why we hired an attorney recently to help us. No one's done it yet. And, we were putting this in place because, we had some suggestions from some large producers around here that said, we're thinking about this. We know a couple of legislators. If you want us to introduce this for you, I don't need that kind of help. We'll introduce it ourselves and we'll write it ourselves. We don't need, the state to tell us how to write it. Because if I'm going to eat meatloaf every Wednesday for the rest of my life, it's going to be the recipe I want, not the recipe that you like. It's just how it is. You don't have to get into this program at all. You got a good meatloaf recipe? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I got some other ones too, but I can't say them here. It is voluntary. I mean, how do you get in this? You have to make claims and you have to make guarantees. If you're just distributing, this doesn't apply to you at all. Or you could distribute part of it or just to one customer or one client, or, you know, if you use some of it on your own farm and you just sell some to somebody down the road. It's not all or nothing. You got to want to be in here to be in here. So I think it's kind of neat. I mean, we still haven't worked out any of the kinks because no one's done it yet. I'm not begging you to do it. No. No. I'm not, no. Jeez. Just ask Ramona. She's right there. Yeah. And then we play this game where you try to catch me, and I'm really good at dodging phone calls. So I know. So if you are who you guys are, and you got one of these things, and you're thinking about, well, is this something I need to do? What do I do? Right? I got a digester, whether it's one of the three kinds that Charlie described or whatever. You got to do whatever item said. Right? They're the boss when it comes to that kind of stuff. And Brenda is the gatekeeper. Right? She says, yes, you can land apply this stuff, whether it's from a digester or it's from, you know, XYZ company that has solid waste and they're trying to get a land application permit. They're the gatekeeper. And then once they say you can do it, then you can come to me. And then you got to say, okay, what am I going to do? If you put it in a bag, you know, it's commercial fertilizer or it's a potting soil, as long as you don't make any guarantees. You can say it's compost. You can't say it's compost or manure. You can say it's digestate. As your customer, you know, my mom going to look at the bag and go, oh, it's got digestate in it. What does that mean? A lot of it is in the claims and the marketing and what you're going to guarantee, what you want to guarantee. It's something that we've talked about at IDEM quite a bit. When we go out and we test a product, we're testing for minimums, right? Consumer protection minimum. So when you buy dog food and it's got a 12% protein guarantee, well, that's actually a really bad example because on our animal feed, it's got a minimum and a maximum. But on fertilizer, it's a minimum guarantee. So if we sample a product and you guarantee it at 10% and it comes back 20, we're going to ask you, what are you doing? Why are you giving away so much? And are you concerned that, you know, what are you doing in the environment? Because the people who are buying it, it says on the bag to apply, you know, this many pounds to this many square feet or whatever, and it's twice the rate. That's bad. But you know what? If you're giving away twice as much product, you're not going to be in business very long either, are you? So it's a minimum guarantee, which is a problem. But, you know, we review all the things we do. So, again, if you distribute in bulk, voluntary, you can become a manure-based fertilizer if you want, but you don't have to. But as soon as you M&D it, we have our fertilizer use rule. Ramona's right over there in a black oyster shirt. If you have questions on what the fertilizer use rules are, ask her. She knows them really, really well. I wrote them. I don't live them every day, though. She lives them every day. You know, application rates and setbacks and staging and all that good crap. Once you get through with that, okay, now I want to make claims. Do you really? Maybe you do. You want to make guarantees. I mean, that's the neat thing. This technology is really cool. The stuff that's coming out, they're doing really amazing things. Why am I telling you guys this? You should be telling me. You know, it's not like it's, you know, you're cleaning out the chicken house and one end of it is at a certain nutrient value and the other end is just nothing but crap because that's where the waters were, or, you know, whatever, you know, different pits. And I mean, this is good stuff. So let's use that technology. Again, you know, the beautiful thing about what you guys are doing and all the research that's going on is we're not using this or treating this stuff as a waste, right? Let's when I get on my soapbox and I'm talking to farmers about manure, and I mean we all know, I'm old, right? I got lots of gray hair. Part of it's because I have kids and a wife. See that bald spot? It's the side she sleeps on. Not really, but we know the stories of the guy who always put the whole pit on that one field because it was right next to the barn, right? We've all seen the soil maps with the phosphorus level out the roof. They're never going to be able to apply manure on that farm ever again. So if you want to treat it as a waste, Brenda's right over there. She knows how to permit waste products. If we're going to treat manure and stuff that manure creates as a valuable resource, we're in the right room. So let's do that. So, and then is it 75% manure? I'm guessing it is. I don't know what the feedstock ratio is or what the recipe is, but is it time for lunch yet?